It's time to count down the top 10 most submitted books into CGC for the month of December. Stay tuned. This video is sponsored by Shortboxed, the easiest and safest way to buy and sell graded comic books. Visit them today using the link in the description. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As I mentioned in the brief intro, we are going to be running down the top 10 most submitted books into CGC. And as a reminder, this data comes directly from my friends over at CGC prior to these books being graded. With that said, the number 10 book on the list is Spider-Man issue number 1 from 1990. Specifically the second print gold edition. There are currently 6,616 total graded copies of this book on the CGC census, and roughly 5,000 of those copies are blue label. The most recent sale of a 9.8 blue label was $203. Because so many of the books on the list are being submitted as part of a recent signing event by Todd McFarlane, I want to provide some context not just for the blue label performance, but also for yellow labels as well. At present, there are 1,618 yellow labels on the census, with a 9.8 having a recent sale of $500 even. Number 9 on the list is the only DC book to crack the top 10, and it is none other than Batman issue number 423, an iconic cover from Todd McFarlane. There are a total of 3,873 graded copies of this book on the census, with 3,000 of them being a blue label and 860 receiving a yellow label. A 9.8 blue label sold for $2,220 in December, and a yellow label 9.8 just sold this month for $3,700. Number 8 on the list is Secret Wars issue number 8 from 1984. This book is the origin of the black costume, which later became Venom. It is also the second appearance of Spider-Woman. There are more than 25,000 total copies of this book on the CGC census, and according to Go Collect, this book has remained above its pre-pandemic price with an FMV of $675 for a 9.8. There was a sale just this month for a 9.8 at $723. Number 7 on the list is Venom Lethal Protector issue number 1 from 1993. There are presently 18,644 total copies of this book graded on the CGC census, and at a 9.8, this book has an FMV of $130. Now, with that said, there was a sale just a few days ago for this book at $91, and potentially this is a sign that we are going to start to see the value of this book erode. Number 6 on the list is another Todd McFarlane book. This one is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 316. There are nearly 10,000 total graded copies of this book on the census. A 9.8 blue label recently sold for $618, whereas a yellow label 9.8 sold for $2,640. It should be noted that there are only 363 total 9.8 yellow labels on the census, which might be the reason why the value is a little higher. Number 5 on the list is Incredible Hulk issue number 340, an iconic cover from Todd McFarlane. At present, there are 11,105 total graded copies of this book on a CGC census. A 9.8 blue label has an FMV of $1,400. A yellow label 9.8 sold in December of 2022 for $1,931. And like number 6 on the list, this book at a yellow label 9.8 has a lower census count with only 287 total copies. Number 4 on the list is Spider-Man issue number 1, the regular cover, also from Todd McFarlane. The 9.8 has an FMV of $90, and the most recent sales have been just below this dollar amount. The 9.8 yellow label has fluctuated in value, but is currently selling for 3 times as much as the blue label. There are presently 12,880 total graded copies of this book on the census. Number 3 on the list is Spider-Man issue number 1, specifically the Silver Edition. This book has a higher census count than the regular cover, but it has a similar FMV at around $90. With that said, there was a recent sale in the last few days for this book at $160. And also, over the last few days, sales for the 9.8 yellow label have fluctuated between $355 to as high as $500. Number 2 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 300. Yes, another book from Todd McFarlane. This one happens to be the first full appearance of Venom. This book also has the highest census count on the entire list, with more than 32,500 total graded copies. Potentially due to this high census count, the values of the yellow label and blue label are pretty similar. The 9.8 blue label is selling for roughly $4,000 and the yellow label for $4,500. Number 1 on the list is Spawn issue number 1, the first appearance of Al Simmons, aka Spawn. It is also the first appearance of Sam and Twitch. There are presently 28,500 total graded copies of this book on the CGC census. The 9.8 with more than 10,000 graded copies has an FMV of $180 for a blue label, and the yellow label is trading hands for roughly $500. So there you have it. That is the rundown of the top 10 most submitted books into CGC for the month of December. And yes, this list was dominated by Todd McFarlane. With that said, I will be providing on Instagram some additional insight into the other books that were submitted in, specifically numbers 11 through 20. If you are interested, I definitely want to encourage you to check me out on Instagram at Regie Collects. And certainly if you want to send me a message, you can do so right there on IG. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I definitely want to encourage you to check out the Guide to Smart Comic Collecting if you haven't already done so. This guide, put together by myself and Doug Bratton, is 88 pages of some fantastic content that will challenge your thinking when it comes to comic book collecting. And it does not matter whether you are new to the hobby or a seasoned veteran, this guide is for you. You can find it on RegieCollects.com.